Hey, good morning. Sunday, May 19th or May 18th. I can't even remember the dates anymore. Anyway, it's Sunday, and we got to San Antonio yesterday. We got to the River Walk, which was everything I thought it was going to be. I mean, that place is incredible. When you see the pictures, you'll definitely get it. It is just an amazing walkway with restaurants and shops and drink and fanfare and boats. It's almost like a little Venice is what it's like. Well, actually, the river itself, I think it runs about 130 miles long, but the section that we're in is probably a couple of miles on one side, a couple of miles on the other side. From there, we went to the Alamo, which I thought was that was quite a spectacle being there. I mean, it gives you a little perspective of the history of what happened there at the Alamo, with Davy Crockett and Jim Bowie, Sam Houston. So that was a pretty good history deal there. Then from there we went to the Menga Hotel, which was around the corner. They were supposed to have all these special artifacts of these little models and little model dolls of the Alamo, the battles of the Alamo and stuff like that, but they had recently taken it down, so that wasn't there to see. So that was a little disappointing. But after that, we went for a nice long walk. We got lost as usual. Got back to the hotel finally, got at the pool, did a little swimming. 95 degrees. Today we're off to the San Antonio Mission Church, the San Antonio Missions Museum, and a couple of other sites that we'll get to eventually. So you guys hang in there. We're in for a pretty cool day. So we'll get on it, and then we'll see you a little later on. All right, so as you can see, we've made it to Mission San Jose. So we'll get in here. We got a ranger is coming, and I think that's the ranger right there. So we're going to follow her, and that's where we're off. And then we'll tune in and listen to see what she has to say. But it looks like a pretty cool place, so we'll get to see it. Here's the visitor center, some restrooms. Here comes Momo, lost as usual. And here we go. Be back in a bit. Okay, so here we are. This is right at the beginning of the San Jose missions. These are part of the walls that probably run a couple of 100 yards down. They were built by the Spanish as a fortress against the Texans, and for the Spanish, so they could impose taxes on the Spanish people that lived here. So I thought that was pretty cool. And well, we're going to get inside and see what else we could find, and see what else we could find as far as the history. So hang in there with us. Okay, so now we're inside of this fortification and housing, and as you can see, that's probably the church down on one end, and you have all this housing and doors probably for all the soldiers. But we'll get a better perspective of that when we start to read a little bit more and discover exactly what this is. So just hang on in there with us, but pretty unique place. San Jose Missions, pretty cool. So from what I can gather from this plaza was the heart of mission life. It was a busy, noisy, smelly whirlwind of activity, secure within protective walls. It doubled as housing. It was the center of a bustling community. It was the marketplace, the extended workshop, playground, and town hall. It was here that the transition from traditional hunter-gatherer society evolved. New forms of shelter, new foods, new crafts became the normal. The farms outside the walls cultivated fields that fed the community. The clang of blacksmiths, the rasp roar of saws, and the bray of draft animals added to the sound and aroma of the area. Very, very cool. Very cool. So we're going to walk on and see what else we could find in here. Okay, so in here, this would be a typical house. Oh boy, here you go. I guess that's the fireplace. This is actually the living room. So if you come back here and you walk in, this is probably your living room. This is what your roof looks like. And you come in here, and I'm guessing this is the bedroom. Anybody want to take a nap? Nah. This is the deal. This is the deal. Double windows. So this is the living quarters for the people that were hanging out here. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. So that's just one. We'll see. We'll go up to another, see if they're identical. Just getting a little bit more perspective. I know when the Spanish came here and they lived here, you know, they had to deal with a lot of disease. It took them a long time to get accustomed to the crown, and it was kind of weird. I'm telling you, you got to see these places. It's pretty insane. You know, we're gonna get down in. We're gonna get down a little closer. I mean, this place is tremendous. You know, the living quarters. Those are all living quarters that I'm showing you right now. And then you come down, and I'm guessing, I don't know what rooms these are, but we will find out. And this is just one aspect of it, and we'll continue on when we find something. So hang in there with us. So what I'm finding out here is this grand two-story convento, they call it, provided the housing for the priests and friars who resided here and ruled over the mission. They're separated from the rest of the compound. Their residence reflect the high status of the clergy. The friars and their guests enjoyed the finest luxuries they could afford on the frontier, such as sugar and wine. The kitchen, dining room, and offices were on the ground floor, and the clergy occupied rooms above. The architecture reflects the Spanish caste system imposed at the time. The social system was based on geographic and cultural background, with Native Americans and Africans being in the lowest casta or caste. While the United States has no formal caste system, it took all of us to continue to create a more equitable society. So this is a pretty cool deal. And like I said, you know, we're just marching on, and you know, we're going to get inside and see if we can see a little bit more. And there is a little more. And this looks like looks like a well. So we'll go here and take a look at this. I mean, the ruins here are, geez, it's amazing that these buildings could stand. I mean, look at the trees. I mean, that's pretty insane. Yeah, this is a blocked out well. I'm sure this is where they got their water from. All right, so we'll be moving on, and we'll get inside. Well, I'm guessing this is some kind of barbecue pit. So that's what that deal is. Now we're gonna walk inside. I'm sure this is either one of the rooms where the friars lived, or the priests. So this would be maybe like a bedroom or something like that with these fortified walls. Kind of crazy. And let's see what we have on the other side of this room. Oh yeah. Oh, I got little entranceways, little doorways, little fireplace. Guess we can keep eating. I'm sure this is probably the living room. That's what it looks like to me. All right. And we're just gonna go from room to room here, which is kind of insane. Wow. Yeah, I'm sure this is probably a cooking station, and I guess out here would probably be maybe like another room, I'm sure. I don't think it was a garden, because they did all their gardening outside. There's a big window to get flushed out, and we'll move on. As you can see, all these trestle tops here, I mean, they are unique. So that's a very unique part of it. And like I was showing you the rooms before. And this is pretty much the whole deal here. You know, I don't think they had concrete floors, probably just dirt, gravel floors. And that's how they lived here. Now we're going to try to get into the church part. I mean, it's pretty, wow, pretty remarkable building, to say the least. All right, we're going to go inside now and see what we have here. Okay, got to be a little quiet. Might be a church going on. Close or private function. You are entering the house of worship. Please show your reverence. Okay. Okay. Wow, Franciscan friar. Pretty cool. Just trying to get some pictures in here. Wow, look at this. Mother Mary. I mean, that is great. That is great. Yeah, it sounds like there's a service going on, so we'll be a little quiet. Don't want to make too much noise. And this would be a church and an altar. I mean, this is incredible. Wow, St. Joseph. St. Joseph on one side, holding Jesus. And this would be a small tabernacle here. And I'm sure that would be Jesus himself. That looks like Michael the Archangel and Satan the devil. Oof, that's crazy, man. That is crazy stuff. All right, so we're gonna head out of here and go to the next room. Well, so far it's been nothing but impressive. And there's a lot more to see. So I just wanted to give you a heads up. Stay with us, and we're going to just keep going in, and hopefully we can get it inside the church. But I believe there's a private mass going on, so we might have to wait. So we'll see in a couple of minutes. All right, so just hang in there. So we're going to continue to walk around this magnificent church. I mean, this thing is insane. I tell you, what a pretty cool place. Now this would be like the front courtyard of the church. I'm not sure we could get in there. We'd have to wait for church to end. Not allowed to enter in there. Let's come around in here and see what we have on the other side. And it looks pretty much the same, but I think we can get inside. So we'll tune in when we get in there. So just so we know, much of this style of facade is original. So when it was completed in 1782, colorful frescoes graced the outside of the interior of the church. Mestizo artisans worked and taught local and indigenous people this European technique. The fresco design represents the mixture of cultures. Excuse me. The church gained notoriety as the Queen of the Missions. The carving above the oval window depicts the patron of the mission, San Jose, St. Joseph, holding the infant Jesus, which we saw inside, which was remarkable. And this is the place, looking at it from the side entrance of the church. You know, we're certainly going to try to get inside. We just got to wait maybe for Mass to be over with. But they have an exhibit room here now, and we're going to go in and check that out. Well, I know it's a little dark, but this is sort of an exhibit room. I'm guessing this is where they held all their wood for the fireplaces. As you could probably see, they have a bunch of wood in this fireplace. And then they have another room in here, which we'll take a gander at. Okay, this is another exhibit room. And this is, wow, this is, it's like a maze in here. Just go from room to room. So that's pretty cool. I don't know what's in there, and I don't expect to find much. And it seems like it's closed, so we're not going to make an attempt. And then, you know, we're coming probably to the last room here. And like I said, there's your fireplace with the wood. Got a little mantle, place to put your stuff, and these are all pictures of the church itself. You know, quite the deal, quite the deal. All right, let's get back outside and keep this sucker going. So these are probably more of the friar and high priest living quarters. As you can see, some of the different types of clothes that they wear. Now, nice. This would be their stove, their fireplace, and I guess a table to eat. You know, pretty much back in the day, you know. You think about back in the days of Jesus, in that period of time, probably had similar quarters as these here. Oh, well, here's a complete deal here. I don't know if you could really see it kind of echoing in here, but we're going to go inside and see if we can see something here. But this would be the whole layout. This would be the whole layout of the deal here. From the trees and the gardens outside. I don't know if you can see the people. Terrific model. A terrific model. Let's see if I can get a close-up of this. Okay. Now, I'm sure this room is probably where they had a lot of their gatherings, maybe church service. This could have been the church itself, a smaller tabernacle. But, wow, old tile floors. And another big fireplace there. So that's the deal here. All right, we're going to press on. and see what we could find elsewhere. You know, a reliable food supply was an incentive to adopt mission life. Indigenous people who lived inside the complex depended on the friars for weekly rations of food from their own labor. As the so-called neophytes attained Spanish citizenship, they became more independent. The mission families moved to land outside the mission walls, where they tended to their own family plots and built the city of San Antonio. And that's pretty much a good deal of history right there. So we're going to continue on down here. That's the inside of that somewhat church deal that we did. And I think we're pretty much complete here. I don't really see much here as far as that. Let's see, you know, I know one thing. All the mission sites included sacred burial grounds. Many unmarked graves are located throughout the missions. During the mission era, burials were located either within the church or right outside of it. The individual had not fully converted to Catholicism. They were buried outside the mission walls. So that's how religions worked. There was just a lot of religious animosity back in those days. All right, so we pretty much saw everything we want to see, I think, in this side of the complex. So what we're going to do is we're going to walk back out and go to the next complex. All right, so we'll see on the walls of the other side. All right, well, we just landed inside, and this is the church where I guess they just had mass. It's beautiful. So the Stations of the Cross, pretty cool. Very nice, very nice. All the Stations of the Cross. Like I said, these are the front doors. What a magnificent shot. Magnificent shot of the altar. Okay, I'm just going to be a little quiet right now. Out of respect. That is truly amazing. All right, so that wraps up the San Jose missions. San Antonio, Jose mission. Incredible place. I mean, the church inside, I'm sure you saw the pictures. It was outstanding. So we're wrapping it up here. We're going to head out of here and go on to the next project. And we'll see you in a little while. I hope you're enjoying it. All right, so you guys just hang in there with us. Plenty more to see. Okay, so this church, San Fernando, is where all the bodies or the remnants of what was left of the Alamo, people that were all killed, are buried here in the chapel in this church, which is the Church of San Fernando. So I thought that was pretty remarkable. So we're going to go in and take a look at it. Well, I don't know if you could tell, but it's well into the 90s here. It is extremely warm. We just walked about, I don't know, probably close to half a mile to get here to the Church of St. Fernando. Now, the Church of San Fernando is where all the Alamo remains are buried in the chapel here at that church. So we went in there just to see the church, check it out. Man, it is a beautiful church. Unfortunately, Mass was going on. Fortunately, Mass was going on. Unfortunately, we didn't have the time to stay because we have other engagements. But I got to tell you, it was an awesome sight to see. We're going to head back now to the room because it's just, there's nobody even out. It's just too hot. Anyway, we'll see you back either in a little while. If not, we'll see you in the morning. Until then, you guys, everybody have a great day. Talk to you later. So I guess these fellas are supposed to represent the Canary Islanders, which were the nucleus of the pioneers that first organized the civil government here in Texas and founded the village of San Fernando de Bexar in 1731. So that's pretty cool. So we got a little bit of shot of that, a little more history, and on down the road we go.
De abraços e de beijo, traições e de desejo, a vida é construída e segue a si mesmo. Eu mesmo vi quanto sofri, se alguém, se algum cuidou de mim. A vida ensina e o tempo mostra um caminho que não conheço. A chuva cai, o vento sopra, pra seguir eu perco medo. Caiu, levantou, você precisa ficar atento. Quando parece não haver mais saída, algo acontece, se renova a vida. Abraços e de beijo, traições e de desejo, a vida é construída e segue a si mesmo. Eu mesmo vi quanto sofri, se alguém, se algum cuidou de mim. A vida ensina e o tempo mostra um caminho que não conheço. A chuva cai, o vento sopra, pra seguir eu perco medo. Caiu, levantou, você precisa ficar atento. Quando parece não haver mais saída, algo acontece, se renova.